Game number 5 between Happy and Lynn is in session. Happy is leading in a 3-1 score. The prize money is $1,700. The players are the best in the world, and we're in for a treat. This is game number 5. The map is going to be Tide Hunters, and I love seeing the evolution for players, for pro players of this caliber, in a game of Warcraft 3, where after they win, after they lose, they make these minute adaptations in their play. The big change we saw from Lynn that was very instrumental to his victory was adding a second burrow in tier 1. Mass creeping his blade, getting some lovely items, getting lucky also helps. Right? And then using those high hero levels to put out a lot of DPS. He played the same 3 times, essentially-ish. And then the 4th game, he added the second burrow. That was variation number 1, or strategy opener number 2, if you will. This is opener number 3. Did you see what he did there? 4 peons in gold, altar. 4 peons in gold, burrow. 4 peons in gold, barracks. Suddenly, the next new lumber peon that comes out, the first one essentially, is joined by one of the gold peons, which left only 3 in the mine. The 2 of them brought back wood at the same time. 10 in the bank, plus 10. Plus 10 is 30 allowed for the Voodoo Lounge. That Voodoo Lounge was made before altar finished. And what this does, together with the peon cut at 19 out of 21, is allowing the Blade Master to pick up shop items before going. Shop me out before you go, if you will. So this opener, where you pull the 4th peon from the mine to join the first lumber peon, allows you to have a blade and a grunt at the same time and go into the map, rather than being forced to stay near, take 1 creep, then go past your Voodoo Lounge, which now is finished. So this is a momentum blade plus grunt opener, and the goal for this opener, which sacrifices a bit of gold. Let's see how much gold. I think it costs 30 gold to do this opener, from the income deprivation of not having that peon. The goal for this opener is one of 2 things. Blade and grunt scout 2 different places, as he's doing, or you creep an area of the map in the middle of the map without the intent or desire to go back for your Voodoo Lounge. Grunt accidentally walks into the natural and gets slowed and attacked. So I told you the 2 variations that this opener tries to get. Either you creep a contested camp in the middle of the map, like this turtle, or you do a double scout. The reason he did the double scout is because Happy has been essentially doing a lot of creative creep camp openers. Going for really big camps early on. Making use of Lynn's absence on the map early, as Lynn is doing his own thing. Which was especially true in the 4th game that we just watched. And then he creeps something big, like his expansion. This is not an unusual creep route. Oh, very nice! He steals the level 3 creep and gets the slippers as well. And he killed a ghoul earlier. This is really, really nice value for this early harass. But anyway, Lynn wanted to make sure that Happy does not creep this first, which is very common. So if you compare this to the Lost Refuge opener, Lynn also went into the map very early. No, not Last Refuge. Echo Isles. The Echo Isles opener. Lynn went into the map semi-early and got nothing done with all of his windwalks. He couldn't harass, he couldn't creep, and then eventually it just wasn't good enough. This time we can say that he definitely got the value out of his opener that he needed. Finding a fantastic item, making sure that that item was actually your opponent's, aka stealing, love crime in Warcraft 3, and then also getting his level 2, killing a unit. This is how successful harass looks like. Meanwhile, Happy, unperturbed, and uses his DK ghouls to creep the Ogre Mage, a key item that nets him a potion of invulnerability. It's a 200 gold sell item. No, more. You can sell it for 240 gold. It's worth 400 if you were to purchase it from a marketplace. So that's a huge swing when you can get it and your opponent doesn't. No level 3 DK yet. That's something that Happy regularly netted himself in the previous games. Maybe he can do some ghoul creeping again of a camp nearby, but actually looking at the map, there isn't that much available for him to solo ghoul creep. So he's gonna have to get things done with his DK and the ghouls that are here and the skeletons that he has. Meanwhile, Lin falls back, purchased the circlet, I want to say, and finds a glove. Very important items here on the Blade Master. And in many of the games he didn't have an infantry like that, and despite the grunt unnecessarily taking damage, I think Lin is happy with his opening. Goes with the Shadow Wormel Beastry. This truly is variation number 3. Right, of his strategy. He has not done this yet. So far, he's only done tier 2 strat once, and it was with TC second on Echo Isles. Oh, okay. It's not a tier 2 strat. It's a delayed tier 3 with an early Shadow, Beastry, and Warmill. He's not getting a Raider or Ensnare yet. Does it mean Kodo? Is it like Blade, Shadow, 3 grunts, and then a Kodo Beast? No, it's a Wind Rider. Okay. Oh yeah, I used to play this. Actually, when I got some wins against Happy a couple of years back, I did this opener. Blade, 3 grunts and Shadow, and then a Wind Rider, followed by a Kodo Beast. But he's gonna follow with a Raider. So not quite how I did it. Wyvern Kodo is definitely a weird combo, but it's good damage and it, you know, they're pretty cool units. But he's gonna get Ensnare and a Raider. There was a time where against Undead, I often felt that getting an early Raider is just Coil Nova nuke bait. Like you walk in with the Raider, you're like, let's Ensnare a unit. And then, bam, Coil Nova, it's dead, no Raider. And I thought maybe I shouldn't make Raiders because they just get Coil Nova and then they're dead. But then if you don't make the Raider, something else gets Coil Nova and is dead. So it might as well be you, Raider. Wait, as I say that, oh, there it is! He is going for the Kodo. Either he finished Ensnare and is not making a Raider, or he cancelled it and went for a Kodo. This I like. Kodo cannot be Coil Nova and killed. Meanwhile, does Happy do any variations? Remember he had like 8 ghouls before on Echo when we counted it? 3 ghouls. Yeah. So that's his standard number. 8 ghouls. 8 ghouls, double statue, save money for Dark Ranger, Orb of Corruption, Ghoul Frenzy, Invulnerability Potion from the shop. Oh my god, look at that inventory. Oi, 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 oi. And he has Crystal Ball. What did he scout? Where? Oh, here. He wanted to see if Happy is taking this Murgul Marauder. The Murgul Marauder. Happy was not. Not yet. Lin goes to the top. Did Lin know that this Ogre Mage was missing? I assume yes. When he saw Death Knight, he could have clicked it. See that the potion was taken. Oh, he's gonna go for the red spot. That's early. Imagine if he gets like War Drums or Endurance Aura. It does nothing. It's just a cell. But he could get Unholy Aura or Insight. Or he could get nothing. Because Happy's right here. And he's not gonna let it happen. Let's see. 1 Kodo, 1 Wind Rider, 2nd Kodo. Kodo War Drums damage increase upgrade. Kodo runs in here. It's gonna get Zeppelin and dodges the coil. Now, he would not have done that if the Trapper didn't throw in Ensnare already. But he saw the Trapper throw Ensnare on Ghoul. When that doesn't happen, the Trapper always ensnares the Zeppelin you buy. But he saw the Ensnare go out to the Ghoul. He's like, okay, I got this. Zeppelin, bam, insta-pops it in, coil dodges. And he basically spends 260 gold for a Zeppelin to save 255 gold worth of Kodo. No XP given. Kodo saved. You know, it's definitely worth it. Plus, he still has the Zeppelin. There's no web, so he can actually use this to micro. There was a time when I thought I should always buy Zeppelin when I get to 50 pop, just to do micro toggling. And maybe it's true. Maybe we are all criminally underusing this. Look at this. You don't have to run away with things. Okay, Wyvern cannot go in the Zeppelin, but look, he can save Grunt. Grunt almost dead. It's now in the Zeppelin. Lich! The Lich! That was close. That was close. He just keeps focusing the Lich. Now going for the ghouls, which I think is better. It's much harder to save them with coil. Blade has a lot of damage, so you want to make use of it. Zeppelin? Damn. Nice Zeppelin toggling, but it does go down. It gives 25 XP. Shadow getting focused. Is there an invulnerability potion? No, but he wasn't silenced, so he could heal himself. Kodos are tanky. They both ate a ghoul, so that's -2 ghouls instantly. He kills a destroyer. Blade has loads of stats, is almost level 4. Goes in, attacks the destroyer, gets a proc of lightning orb on the second hit, kills it. Blade's level 4. There's no Nova available anymore. He does have good damage. And there's no heal wave available, so Lich can keep firing, but he kind of can't because Blade has a lot of supporting units yet still, and Happy really doesn't have much left. What happened to Happy's army? Where's his army? He got nothing left. Is a Blade with so much stats good? Plus 32 damage, 16 agility. You know, this really feels like a Dota pimped out hero right here. In my pro gaming days, I tried to not look at item luck too much because I didn't want to grow unconfident if I had bad items. But I also feel like it's useful to know the value of items. And it's not like I didn't know. Like, I know how strong this is. But it actually makes a really big difference about whether you're going to win the game or not. Which maybe some people may say is not a good thing about Warcraft 3. But, you know, it is what it is. And you need to pimp out that Blade. And on this map, uniquely, you could purchase from the marketplace if you needed to. It's not cheap, it's not free. But I think this game and the previous game show how much relies on the Blade's items. Same is true also for the Lich. Lich also needs damage. But Lich is just a fast attacking ranged Orb of Corruption applier with good damage, right? That's all he is. But Blade Master's damage with Critical Strike is actually amplifying item damage. Critical takes those items into consideration, any items. So he cares more than anyone. And while Frost Armor and Frost Nova do slow his attack speed, it's not always active. Sometimes there's no Frost Armor, sometimes you're invulnerable, and sometimes you just stomp. You just stomp people with your damage. And even if you're attacking slower, you can still get big crits. Nice body blocks there with the Blade Master. He's not going for the Lich because he knew Coil is still available. Wow, Blade could still die. No, he has Windwalk. He's saving it till the end. He must have checked the heroes. There's no dust. No, come on, no! Oh, wait! Hold on a second. He had Ankh of Reincarnation? I think he just passed it to the Blade. I didn't see that, actually. Wow. Huge. Enormous what? That's huge. No mana left. And no upgrades on the Berserkers this time, but he got enough value with his heroes. It never really took off for Happy, did it, this game? What went wrong here? He's level 3-2-1. Let's watch it one more time. The score is now 3-2 for Happy, who took a 3-0 lead. And Lin managed to win 2 back-to-backs, but what went wrong here? So Happy saw that the Blades and Grunt were coming. That's why he's taking a smaller camp, I think. He takes this. Goes for this. Got his level 3 stolen, so now he's not level 2 yet. Takes a lot of ghouls to a relatively small camp because Blade has been near. I think this really is the key, though, to approaching Happy. I don't think you split the map. Either you gotta go full greed. Okay, I'm basically just taking Lin's double win and saying you gotta do either this or that. Play like how when he won, don't play like how when he lost. Yeah, this is my totally original, creative, highly intelligent epiphany. The things that work and win, like finding agility, that's what you should do. And you should either double burrow, creep, and get a badass Blade, a badass B, or you should immediately go to him, scout him, and disrupt him, and not allow him his perfect creep route. Does that make sense? Don't do anything in between. One way of the extreme. Yeah, just play like Lin, and or get lucky. Okay, so that's my hypothesis for now. Yeah, I guess Happy doesn't know where Lin is. Like, he's got skeletons here and there. So he's just afraid that if he takes something extremely ambitious, like the natural, he's going to get creep jacked. So he never got his DK3 early. And then he forgot his Lich? Wait, hold on a second. He forgot his Lich. No, he insta-made. Okay, cool. Yeah. Just good creep route, and it really disrupted Happy. Happy did not feel in his element when it came to creeping with good feng shui. GG. 3-2. Let's watch the next. Game number 6 between Happy and Lin for the Show Cup 85 and $1,700 of prize money. Happy took a 3-0 lead and is now in a 3-2 score as Lin won back-to-back comeback games while on match point. He used an aggressive extreme creeping strategy in game number 4 in order to clinch it, getting a super high level Blade Master, and in the next game he completely switched tack, as Lin is known to do, into an immediate harass without any creeping whatsoever with an early scout route in order to disrupt the greediest possible creep openings that Happy might otherwise do. Happy saw him coming and decided to creep smaller, but it was still possible for Lin to disrupt him and steal several creeps and items and kill ghouls and so on in order to set himself up nicely for the game. What I'm curious to see now is what opening Lin will go with. Will he go with the double burrow variant that got him a win? Will he go for the for the early Voodoo Lounge variant? The answer to the Voodoo Lounge is no. He is going for the opener from game 1, 2, and 3, where he lost so far. Unless we see him adding a second burrow soon. But this Beyond shows Voodoo Lounge here. That means he's probably gonna... Wait, hold on a second. No, he's scouting. This is variation number 3. Or, as I should say, opener version number 4. He has not opened like this yet. No Voodoo Lounge at home. Beyond scout at the altar finish timing. This is how smart Lin is. Anytime you meet him in a large series, he does multiple different openers and he can play them all comfortably. That's the thing. Some people are like, oh, you know, I'm best at this opener. I'm going to do this over and over. He can play every opener comfortably. This is the first game in the series so far, now here in game number 6, that he has made an 8th peon for wood, essentially counting the scout peon as a wood peon. The first time he's making use of the 21 population cap that Orc has in 2023. No shop at home, which is something that Happy sees. So he knows that Lin is going to go into the map. Blade without Voodoo Lounge cannot creep. So he knows Blade could be coming. But it doesn't mean that Blade is necessarily going to go for the camp up here. He could just steal away this Murloc. And I did say he can't creep, but that's not entirely true, is it? I'm a little bit of a liar. Blade without Voodoo Lounge can creep, but will sustain small amounts of damage while taking humble camps. And that's okay, right? As long as you don't take too much. You can't creep big. That's what I should have said. Can't creep big, but this is fine. He picked up the circlet, which helps. And as Happy comes in to get his level 2 here, he finds that he's fishing behind the net. Lin has already been here and left a little calling card. Blade Master was here. Blade is level 1.4, DK 1.6. Blade windwalks into the marketplace, which means he saw something worth purchasing. It's the Slippers of Agility +3. Spending a small sum on this, as Grunt quickly reacts to the threatening surround attempt. Blade is going to try to steal the camp, and he does not. But he goes for a ghoul. In comes the coil. That's 75 mana for 75 mana. Forced to windwalk out because he found himself surrounded. And Happy cycling away some hurt ghouls while going for the small camp first in order to try and bait a windwalk out and extend the duration that Blade is forced to spend in windwalk before being able to use it to contest for the Flesh Eater. But the funny thing about the Flesh Eater is, and this may come as a shock to you, it eats flesh. It consumes a corpse nearby, essentially the cannibalizability from the life-stealing, flesh-eating ghouls that are here. And that makes it take a little bit longer to kill. So it creates this funny dynamic where both of the heroes that are waiting to last hit it with Windwalk and or Coil are seeing the creep get healthier and healthier as it's having a little bit of a feast on its fallen comrades. But eventually, the dust forced the Blade Master away, DK was able to finish it, and all is well. However, I'm sure if you check the 4-minute 30 mark, which we are at right now, I think you'll find that DK was already much higher level than he is now. Level 2.2. And I think it is indeed true. Thank you so much for the gift sub, Bomb, Iantex. Appreciate it. I think you'll find that because Lin is putting himself across the map so early, Happy is taking smaller camps. Had Lin not immediately moved onto the map, which the Acolytes saw, I bet Happy would have taken his natural expansion or something. Or the Ogre Mage first here, and the entire camp. And that sets him up real nicely. The value that Blade thinks he's getting from these early camps never seems to be equal. It's time to recognize that Undead has a better creeping capacity right out of the gate when the hero finishes. A Blade and 1 Grunt can try to be, but can never be equal to a DK, 4 ghouls and 2 skeletons. It's just a lot more units and DPS. So it makes sense that the strategy would end up working the best, because I like Lin's start so far this game, and I liked it last game as well. The strategy that ends up working like the nicest is to put yourself out there early on, and that's also the opening that Save Orcas has long been trying to get me to consistently play against Undead. Very early scouting, disrupting those early ghoul creeping paths. But the moment that the cat leaves the house, the mice are dancing on the table, isn't it? It's a Dutch saying. When a cat leaves the house, the mice dance on the table. And it's true, I think. Blade Master leaves, and DK immediately goes for 2 giant camps. The Furbolg Tracker, the Polar Furbolg Tracker. Yeah, I think the non-polar is a lot less scary, but the polar one, you gotta be careful. Inner fire, slow and whatnot. Anyway, he takes the Furbolg Tracker, which is gonna get him Pendant of Energy. That's huge. 100 bonus mana capacity. And he got the Potion of Invulnerability. Bringing in additional ghouls. Probably gonna go for the Arachnithid camp. And he knows that the natural was taken with the Acolyte. He's got a sentry on his own natural expansion. So I think Happy can pretty much intuit that Lin is somewhere here on the map. He knows this was just taken, so I think he has an idea that Shadow is exactly here. And the sentry, I think, saw the Blade head here. Did the sentry still live long enough to know that the Blade was heading here? Man, the Blade is so well statted, he can just solo this entire camp. Meanwhile, Happy picks up Illusion and Ring of Protection from the Arachnithid camp, or maybe the Claws. Is it 8 ghouls again? 1, 2, 3, 4... 8 ghouls. So, I wanna... Hey, Sacrificial Pit this game. Why is that? Oh, he lost the ghoul to creeps. Why Sacrificial Pit this game? And don't say it's for Frostworms, because the tech route for worms no longer necessitates a Sacrificial Pit. That's a change. 1 of the wind, pretty good item. Used to be 3 charges, now it's 2. Balance change. But yeah, suddenly going with the pit. Interesting. That cost him a lot of lumber, actually. He's got almost nothing left. Destroyer upgrade, Frenzy, picks up Orb of Corruption. Does not have enough lumber for Dark Ranger yet. Meanwhile, Lin happily creeping. Not going for Wind Rider into Kodo this time. It is double Raider opener this time around. Finds a Belt of Giant Strength. Going with double Kodo and TC. That puts him at 47 population. And I always wonder at this time, do you just go double Kodo and then Raider, not use the racks? Or do you make literally 1 Headhunter? It seems that I've often been starting Headhunter production early, but that they don't have a lot of value into ghouls. And I don't think making another Grunt is good either, because Grunts get owned by Destroyers. So you just get to this weird situation where the barracks has no value, and you would sooner not make a unit than make a unit, which just feels weird. Like in StarCraft, if you can make a Marine, you make a Marine. But he's not making anything right now, because everything sucks. Grunts, Headhunters, not good. Wait, that's the real Dark Ranger! What is going on? What is this? Feels a little uncommon. like Happy is a little bit flustered by Lin's strong performance, and I didn't think Happy gets flustered, but it's good to remember that even the robot man, the Emperor, has feelings. But that's a very well decked out Blade Master. Shadow is almost level 3. Ideally, he wants to kill one ghoul very, very quickly in order to get level 3 on the Shadow. War Stomp would have been great, but there's a Cyclone. Dark Ranger does have Silence. Will use it. Will not use it on the TC when he dropped down. There's a Cyclone Shadow Hunter surround attempt who will actually get assassinated. This was really nice use of Cyclone. Killing a Shadow with full life and mana is a disastrous result for Lin. He no longer has Heal Wave. There's not a whole lot of units left though for Happy. This game definitely feels a little off. I don't think the sacrificial bit got him that much. He's got not so much lumber at the moment. It's a shame I don't know more about like what Happy was thinking in this game. He's got a lot of gold. He wasn't using his crypt all the time. He's here without Town Portal, obviously. Where's his Shade? The Shade is like somewhere forgotten, so not even really helping against Windwalk. Yeah, 3 undead heroes against an army. If you put these 3 undead heroes in the hands of an average player, they just get instantly wiped away. I get wiped away when I play undead against Orc, but somehow Happy sees these odds and likes them and stays. I mean, that feels pretty disgusting to me, but what's Sacrificial Pit? It's a building that turns acolytes into shades, which are a non-combat invisible true sight unit. Yeah, this is crazy, but Happy is not macroing that well. He's got an idle crypt, not pumping ghouls non-stop. I feel like Lin mental broken Happy. I mean, it's easy to like blame this or that. Like oh, you know, it's lag or whatever. I feel like this is the power of mental domination. This looks uncommon, what Happy is going through. Like, he is better than this. This happens because a series is long. You know, psychologically, humans can focus intensely on one thing for about 20 to 25 minutes, or so research says. I don't think it's true because I once focused very intently on a full episode of Bleach, several in a row in fact, and I managed to catch all the nuances and the Tsugoi moments, but supposedly you can focus for like 20 minutes straight, 25, maybe 30, and after that there is a bit of a break in your attention, and supposedly humans learn the best with 2 types of learning, which is called recency and primacy. Primacy is recollecting events that happened at the start of your 20-minute session, and recency is recollecting events that happened at the end of your session. So if I were to tell you 30 words, you would remember the first few words and the last few and probably forget a bunch in the middle. Something like that, right? So essentially taking breaks in between, 5-minute break to reset your brain, helps you to focus better on the next thing. Rather than doing like 2 hours of intensive learning, you have like little breaks and then you have sessions of learning. So of course Warcraft 3 games are about that long. And if you're given some minutes to recollect yourself in between games, you can do mental reset. But sometimes things happen, you can get frustrated about things. Obviously Warcraft 3 is very competitive. It can be frustrating to lose to a high level blade. You don't get the time to reset, either because you feel harried or because the broadcast has to continue, or you cannot square things away properly in your mind, and you just play worse the next series. It's not necessarily, it can be choking, right? It can be, but it can just be the mental damage the opponent did to you, or some of your own inner demons psychologically. I don't feel like this was top Happy performance. I do think Lin played very well, and there's certainly something fearsome about going ahead 3-0 in a series and then losing 2 games in a row after that and suffering a bad start in the 6th game. So you're like, oh no, is this gonna be Is this going to be bad for me? Like, is this going to be me 3-0 into not closing out the series? So that's pretty interesting. This was Happy's weakest game so far, but basically like how Lin's first game was by Lin. That was Lin's worst game. But in a series, you keep needing to play better and better in order to clinch it rather than worse. And now suddenly we're at a 3-3 tiebreaker. That's crazy. Let's go straight into the next. Not enough for a future video. We go into the final game. It's going to be the rubber match. Game number 7 between these two. Mental damage was inflicted. Let's jump into it. Happy versus Lin on Concealed Hill. The decider. Okay. Let's look at what Lin is going to be doing. We have seen 4 variations in his opening. Whereas I think we can say we've really only seen 1 from Happy. Happy is more adaptable these days. But we don't see him like defaulting into altar ziggurat, delayed krypton and graveyard and doing like a Tet tech, like 16-foot Tet tech. We don't see that from him. We don't see him going crypt graveyard and doing a fiend opener with a slow hero, right? We don't see altar crypt ziggurat but skipping the acolyte scout, going 5 ghoul and doing a 1 ziggurat tech. He's not changing the pace of the game, which allows a master of war, a master gamer like Lin, to have a sense of reliability in what he can expect from the opponent, and it gives him agency and regency in how he can craft his plan to try and disrupt Happy's plan. Right now, he's got Happy on this. If Happy is not disrupted, Happy takes intelligent, high creep camps that are seemingly too early for what a player should be able to get at that phase in the game. Most undeads would not be getting Goblin Shop immediately with the first creep camp, but Happy does. And he has seen that happen in the first couple of games, and he has decided to take a more proactive approach to disrupting Happy. He has also seen that when he does go into the map early, Happy goes to smaller camps. And it's a toss-up. Sometimes he will steal some of Happy's small creeps, sometimes he won't. So what Lin is doing now is a double burrow opening with an 8th peon. So this is variation number 5. I like keeping track of this because it shows a player's depth and flexibility. This is Lin's 5th build order variation. Double burrow, 8 peon, but no shop. And that's a special you can do on Concealed Hill because you can potentially lean a bit on the healing fountain in order to get some healing. Though I will say this healing fountain is not in a convenient location to spend a lot of time. Just like I can't pop over to Hawaii to do a bit of vacationing. It's very healthy for me, but it's too far away. So you gotta be really damaged to need that vacation and go there and then stand there for a while and not do anything productive, like streaming and YouTubing. So, too real. Double grant opening, 1 grant, 2 grants, 3rd coming, tech, no voodoo launch, and immediately just getting a single tome here, which I think was intelligence tome. Yeah, I think there was +2 intelligence. Because I think he's 18, 22, 16 at level 1. Picks up the circlet at the shop and then just starts hitting acolyte. To what end? Why this violence? And it forces the Nerubian, which is something that Happy might skimp out on sometimes. So, you know, forcing Nerubian, forcing DK back, and then comes in this... Okay, never mind. He was getting his XP from this camp because he did not steal that turtle. He did not steal the item. So Happy gets to keep what he started. But this is a lot of ghouls and skeletons for a relatively small camp. Not bad. Skeleton kill by Lin. It's the only thing he could get out of the residual Windwalk. That's 12 XP. And not bad, you know? 12 XP. And the peon scouts this camp because he figures perhaps Happy at some point will send 5 ghouls or 3 ghouls or 4 ghouls. I think it has to be 4 ghouls or like 3 ghouls and a skeleton to creep this, to tie things together and get a DK level 3. So the peon just decided to stay here, see if there's any satellite creeping by solo ghoul squads. But instead Happy comes here with everything, dusts the blade prematurely in order to be safe. And the Tome of Strength stolen by the blade. He can... Okay, pause. This is an interesting moment where Happy has to choose to either coil his ghoul or the trapper in order to last hit steal it. He has to make a choice. But if Happy does this well, he can actually let the blade hit it. Don't hit yet. Immediately follow up, steal it, and coil his ghoul to save it. Now let's play and see how it plays out. Blade does get the last hit. Coil goes to the ghoul. And the blade is forced to go away. So Blade gets a nice XP steal. I believe it's 48 XP stolen. And runs away. Doesn't have any heal salve, mind you. And now you can also see that despite being hurt, it is not viable for players to go to the fountain. There's often a romantic idea that if you're hurt on concealed heal, you can just go to the fountain. But you can't. Because there's too many important things going on that the fountain is way too far away for. Coil to confirm the camp. Grunts are just getting a few cheeky extra hits in on the DK, weakening him and essentially making a Shadowhunter hex timing more threatening. Trying to go with the surround there. This skeleton, this ghoul, he could get the surround. Ghoul close in and bam, nice. You get a feeling for these things. Definitely had the speed and the finesse there to surround that ghoul. Very, very well done. That's, oh. Look at that. He got bonus XP for that. There's a 15% XP bonus for a tier 2 Halls of the Dead player that has not started their second hero yet. And I just took a quick look. He didn't have the money yet. And he in fact chose not to make it yet. Instead getting double Ziggurat and Slaughter in tier 3 before starting Lich. And that means that instead of 60 XP, he got, and I have to check here, 60. He got 69 XP. Really nice. And that was almost enough to level him up. But not quite. Double circlet. Ring of Protection. There is a... there's 2 grunts here. Ah, there we go. There's the 4 ghoul, 1 skeleton squad. And the peon was scouting it, but what can he do? Nothing. It's like getting an intern at the nuclear power plant. It's like, something is blowing up, but I don't know how to stop it. Look at that. Cute little move. Attack the camp. Ghoul is a military unit. Peon is a worker unit. Worker has immunity from the creeps so long as they are military units. So he gets some poison damage done there. Very nice. It's 3-3. We're in game number 7. Replenishment potion. DK comes in with the level 3. What do we got? Wind Rider. No ensnare, no Kodo yet. Tier 3 in season. Coil Steel on the level 4 troll. It's a massive strike back. The Empire strikes back. Or the Emperor. He's called the Emperor. Emperor strikes back with creep steals. Shadow level 1.6. Skeletons coming in with the Scout. What is the next unit? Raider. Wyvern into Raider. Fortified Burrows. There's the 4th burrow. That will actually delay his Tarn Chieftain. He could have decided not to make the burrow. First get the TC. Oh, and the tower as well. What do you think about that, guys? That's weird. Claws of attack +8. Is it really worth it to get a 4th burrow and a tower to delay your Tarn Chieftain? Essentially, Chieftain could have been halfway now. And now he doesn't even have the money for it. I wonder if it's worth it. I don't think so. But let's see what kind of role that tower plays. Clearly, he wouldn't be doing this just because he likes how towers look. He sees DK3 and he knows that he could maybe die if he doesn't have it. I still feel like we should experiment with Voodoo Lounge a little bit further back. Maybe lounge behind the burrows. Ogre Lord abduction technique initiated by Happy. I think... Oh wait, the blade is there. The blade is right there. Oh! He took the Cloak of Flames. Oh, that's big. Now, Happy did get the XP. I want to talk to you about what Lin did there. Lin has a Windwalk, level 1. It's about to run out. He is unlikely to steal the Ogre Lord. And if he tries it, the Ogre Lord is here. I have to pause for this, sorry. I know some people hate pausing, but I have to pause for it or we're going to miss something else. If Blade tries to creep steal it and misses, he will displace himself to outside of the Ogre Lord, putting him further away from the item. Right? Even if he hits it, he's a little further away sometimes. No, if he kills it, he's inside the Ogre Lord, and there's no Ogre Lord, so he stays on the item and he can steal it. But if he misses, he may displace outside of the Ogre Lord, further away from the item. If he feels he's not going to be able to CS the Ogre Lord, creep steal it, creep score, then he will instead hit something nearby while finding a gap, so that at least he can get the item. Why come out of vision at all, you may wonder? It's because his body can maybe block the item so that the opponent cannot click the item as easily, because suddenly a blade appears and is kind of blocking the item. Furthermore, I think his Windwalk was running out. So I've seen him do that sometimes where like he kind of reveals himself when you think he could just stay in Invis. Maybe Windwalk just ran out, but he revealed himself. I think it makes the creep steal more likely. Hey, Tome of Agility, I forgot. So he does get the cloak, which is really big actually. That would be good damage on... I don't know, would Happy sell Cloak of Flames or just keep it on Death Knight? Because you don't really want to use the Death Knight in a Cavalier fashion, even though in French a Knight is Chevalier, which sounds like Cavalier, but you don't want to use them like that. It's too risky. You don't want to put them to the front. But on Blade or Tauren Chieftain now, Cloak of Flames is very good. I think Happy might sell it though. It gives a lot of gold. He sells it every time. Yeah. Makes sense. So Lyn, pretty much, he got the Ogre Lord. He got a bunch of creeps. But Happy is creeping a little more. Happy now got one of the laboratories, and the other laboratory is still available. And then there's 2 dragon camps. They can split. Lyn got his natural, and the other is still available. But then Happy got the Ogre Lord. So you can kind of see how the map was split, but 1 extra camp to Happy. He got mid. So he's actually in a good XP situation. So now Lyn is going to try to get the other laboratory, which would equalize them at least on laboratories, and would put Lyn ahead on natural gold mine creep camps. So if he gets this, and he has so far, that equalizes things a bit. And Happy's only been spending this time searching for Lyn. There's no invul on Blade, so he's going to try to snipe a statue, but he's actually been dusted, so he just runs away. So now Happy reclaims the bread crust of the laboratory, but it decides it's too dank. He doesn't want it without cheese, so he doesn't take it. He still feels like it's his attack timing, and he even sacks his statue and goes for a mass destroyer transformation. He's at 56 pop. He's pushing over. That destroyer transformation shows Lyn that Happy's pushing over 50. That transfo is a sign that Happy wants to fight, and in fact he's kind of looking for Lyn, but he's looking in a place where at least if he doesn't find Lyn, he gets the best thing left on the map. Consider this, chat. There's a red drake and a natural camp here. Whereas here, there's only a red drake and bread crust. So if you're gonna 50-50 guess where your opponent is and you're bruising for a fight, you go for the best consolation prize. The best remaining creep camps on the map. That's what Happy did here. He wanted to fight. He wanted to creep jank Lyn on the camp. He wanted to find Lyn running around doing the ring around the rosy. But if he doesn't, his plus 50 is still justified because he gets 3 camps. Red camp, orange, and green. There's still like 2 creeps here left. Whereas he knows that splitting the map, even if he splits the map, Lyn will only get red camp, bread crust, and nothing else. Triple Kodo. Interesting. So he's using Kodos as an alternative to Headhunters because Headhunters take bonus damage from ghouls. Headhunters also have been nerfed by 25 health in the most recent patch. And he is getting some now. And Kodos trade well in early confrontations because they start the fight with essentially alone, like 3 kills, temporary kills. They can be free, they have a lot of health, they're Coil Nova resistant. They're not physical damage resistant, they take a lot. But they're more resistant to ghoul hits. So Kodo is like an early fighting unit. And Lyn has also gone over 50 pop. He's actually quite rich. And he's even diversified, for the first time in the series, to a new unit. The Spirit Walker. Now, Spirit Walker is an interesting one. He can disenchant and remove silence. He can disenchant and remove skeletons. But he can also prep the fight with Spirit Link, which spreads damage across and helps your main heroes feel a lot tankier as they share damage with other units. However, Spirit Link gets eaten by destroyers. And this gives destroyers mana and health. And mana on destroyers is damage. So while you're trying to do something good, linking yourself, making Shadow more resilient to Coil Nova nukes, you're giving the opponent the key to Eden to unlock bonus health and damage, which kind of sucks. And this is a 6 destroyer opening. We saw Happy do this in the W3 Champions finals against Focus and Hitman as well. Loads of statues and destroyers. And he beat both of those orcs quite handily. So this is a winning strategy for him. His ghouls have 1 armor upgrade, no attack. And his destroyers have no upgrades. And he's really committing to the mass transformation now. You can only transform once. After Caterpie becomes Kokona. After Pikachu becomes Raichu, it can never become Pikachu again. It won't be cute anymore. Metapod, thank you. You can only go to Butterfree, right? After Metapod. Anyway. Who started about Pokemon anyway? Why can't we just talk about Warcraft? So, Lin somehow saw fit to get the 70 population as well. He's rich. Against 70 as well from Happy. But he's in his own base, and there's a tower. And he's got 4 Kodos, 1 Wyvern, and a Walker. So we heard... That's Devour. 1 Raider instant dead. 2 Raider dead. That's double Raider for nothing. Good War Stomp. 3. 4. There's 4 units dead for Lin, and he's only killed 1 or 2 ghouls. Very good start, but that's pretty much how destroyers function. They start the fight really, really well. Focus fire on the blade. He's got greater healing potion, uses it. No silence on the blade. Silence went on the Shadow Hunter. And the TC. Blade comes back in, is really low, but receives a heal wave. 55 population for Lin. TC not level 3 yet. And that's pretty much as good as it gets for Happy. That was his big destroyer magic damage attack. We see what's happening, right? And we try to understand what's happening. But let's also talk about what's not happening. What did Lin never do this game? Make 3 catapults and a Tauren? Yeah, very good, little Timmy. But what common thing that orcs generally want to do did he not do? He didn't make any play to... Yes, exactly, Nathanimus. He never expanded. He never tried to expand. He never made a tower on the expansion. What's something I always like to do against Undead? Always. At some point. I believe you have to do it. Except, ironically, when I was beating Happy the most, I didn't always expand. Because I... Cry, leave, win, GG... Guys, expanding! It's the same answer! I always try to expand. And I do remember that when I was beating Happy, way back when, like 2 years ago, it was also through never expanding, because you analyze that this guy here, this Happy guy, no matter what, he doesn't map hack, right? But he has a map hack in his head. He always punishes the expansion, no matter what time you invest. You just killed all his heroes, you expand, you lose. Though, ironically, Focus did win 1 game against Happy in the W3 Champions. Or was it Hitman? Yeah, it was Focus. It was Focus. The only game he won was with an expansion. Early expansion, in fact. It can work sometimes, I suppose. But that's something Lin didn't do here. And in fact, Lin didn't expand almost at all. The entire series. And that's because Happy doesn't play like X-Lord, where Happy like stays on 50 pop, expands, and then goes for 80 pop. Happy almost never does that, right? He tries 55 timing attack, 60 food timing attack, 70 food destroyer morph attack. He pretty much doesn't expand I feel like the way of never expanding is actually harder to pull off against X-Lord, even though Happy's much better than X-Lord, because X-Lord does call your bluff, and it's like, okay, I'll stay on 52. 50, not 52. 52 would be dumb. Anyway, fight is going on. Blademaster very well decked out, has invul. Destroyers no mana anymore, so they don't do a lot of damage. He's focusing the Headhunters and Walkers first, taking care of both the magic and the anti-air here. Now taking down a couple of Raiders. Still looking pretty good for Happy, actually. He's killing all the Raiders. There's only Kodos left, and Kodos cannot eat air, even if you ensnare them. But the heroes for Lin are completely untouched. The Shadowhunter's so much full on mana. He can hex and heal all he wants, and the Blademaster's popping off with a very early premeditated invul. Almost as a kind of just in case I lag and you coil Novat and it dies. I'm so far ahead now that I can just pop an early invul and make sure that everything is okay. Is he gonna hex anything? Is he gonna hex the Lich to keep it here? Yes. Hit. Second hit, Purge. Nice. Third hit kills a skeleton. Early invul by Happy. Happy running away with his tail between his legs. That's a greater invulnerability. It's going to last 15 seconds. Probably got about 3 seconds left on it. 2, 1. And there we go. He's hittable again, but suddenly Lin lost his bloodthirst, his bloodlust. Goes back, uses a safety windwalk just in case, so he doesn't get coil Nova to smithereens. Happened plenty in this series so far, and he said it's enough. And after all that, pulling back just feels divine for Lin, because he's still under 50 population, which means 100% income. Same is true for Happy, of course. But he is now finally investing in the beginnings of an expansion. A condition of expanding that feels the best so far. After winning a decisive fight, then slowly inching out presence here with towers. And then using a 50 pop save up, going for the Great Hall. Probably mining for a little bit with 10 workers. But I don't think he's gonna go too greedy. You need a bit. Like, you wouldn't expand and then immediately make a Berserker and go to 52 pop. Because one base creates 10 gold per second. 2 base is 20 gold per second. But then if you go over upkeep, you suddenly get 14 gold per second, which is only a 40% improvement over 10 gold per second. And then suddenly you're not getting all that much extra, but you did spend this large upfront cost on Double Tower, Voodoo Lounge, Great Hall. And you want to earn that back. Otherwise, you'll find yourself weaker in a minute or two from now than you would have been if you never expanded at all. Of course, this does guarantee the future for, future generation. Eventually, your gold mine is going to run out. You can't unsummon like an undead and get some money back. So you do eventually need an expo. Otherwise, you have no further income. An undead can go AFK in their base. And you can't win the game. You may not lose, or you may. But you can't win, because you can't attack into this. That's why eventually an expansion is necessary. And it couldn't have come any earlier. Or later for Lin. Perfect timing. He saves up about 500-600 gold. And then goes for the production. Getting 60 pop. Happy comes in and is not happy with what he sees. He actually made a shade with one of his final acolytes. And now has tabs on Lin. I expect him to actually try and either catch reinforcements in the middle. Or just kind of randomly start attacking burrows. Because it doesn't feel attractive to attack into towers. His destroyers have mana. He's unsummoning everything he can to make the most amount of destroyers. And he's just gonna, I think, roll face. I think he's just gonna try to kill burrows, honestly. He doesn't want to move into this. He wants Lin to move into him. But he is using magic on the destroyers. So some magic and Orb of Annihilation is being lost already. Lin kills one statue and it snares the other. So no further destroyers can be made. And there's no more health and mana production from the statues. He even sends his blade to kill the other. He wants to hurt the sustain of Happy and remove his chance to regenerate mana and coil Nova everything. Nice focus fire by Happy. Allows him to take down much of the anti-air. Killing almost all the Berserkers practically instantly. And now going for the Kodos as well. That was a big stomp though, shutting down all 3 heroes as Happy pause champed. There is another stamp available. But now destroyers start falling. The war of attrition is insane as both are claiming victims. But it seems like there is enough for Lin to start eking out a massive advantage in this game. There's a counter expansion going on at the same time. And DK hits level 5. He can try to blow up a hero. He kills the Shadow Hunter. I panned away at a crucial time. T-Tours. I didn't see that. I was just checking the expansion. Somehow the Shadow Hunter died. And I didn't see it. And Lin didn't see it neither. Coil Nova'd him out of the orbit. Kodo dying. Oh my god. 36 population. I think Lin threw the game. Like, Happy's expanding behind this. Like, yeah, he unsummoned a bunch of things, but nothing crucial. He unsummoned Altar, Goldmine, 1 Ziggurat, Sacrificial Pit. And now the Altar dice that was remaking the Shadow, so now the only way to get Shadow back is to hire it from the Tavern, which he doesn't have enough money for yet. And even if he does revive it from the Tavern, it has no mana. There's only 2 towers left, no burrow. I feel like Happy is making a mistake to attack the tower, though. He could go straight for the peons. He could go straight for the peons. Of course, dealing with the threat of the towers is nice. But killing the peons would give him additional skeletons and immediately hurt the income. Where's the Shadow? Oh, Blade is killing Acolytes. Blade is killing Acolytes. And Lin is not even Tavern rebuying the Shadow. He prefers instead to remake the Altar. The thing is, if Orc Tavern rebuys, because they don't have statues or moonwells, after you rebuy for a very high cost, you still need to buy 2 clarities and a heal salve to be where you want to be again. It's so expensive. That's like 900 gold just to get his Shadow back. So instead, spends this, then it's going to retrain Shadow, which probably costs like, I don't know, 350 or something at this point. He dealt, very importantly, he dealt with the Acolytes, the counter expansion from Happy, and Happy falls back. He killed the peons. And the very final peons that Lin has left from Lumber are now coming in to reinforce. But the skeletons are still there, the Dark Minions. Happy wants to increase his lead and kill additional units. But the Endurance Aura level 2 is saving most of his units. Shade helps him to keep track of Blade. Man, what a game. This skeleton needs to get in on the action. I hear attacking peons is all the rage. And he's like, yeah, that seems fun. Kodo gets Nova'd. Kodo gets Nova'd and killed. Slow, stupid beasts. For all their damage, aura buff, and devouring. They aren't the fastest, are they? Oh, there's another Kodo at the fountain. Oh no. That's 8 population. That's 510 gold worth of death. The only bad thing for Happy throughout all this is that he's not mining. He needed a Nerubian tower here to save his Acolytes from the Blade. But this Blade is a dodgy fellow, isn't he? Slippery eel. Oh, Happy tries to pretend like he's not here anymore and he doesn't know the Blade is still here. But yeah, even if you call a Nova said under Windwalk, it's too fast to nuke. He has to, like, he's gonna nuke it just to kind of like keep it in check. He hopes that Windwalk runs out, brings back his Dark Ranger, hopes he can get like a lucky silence. Maybe silence it now. Oh! Oh! No? I thought maybe he's gonna silence it and hope that it's the end of its Windwalk. I think he should have silenced it. I think he should have silenced it. Hope that Windwalk runs out and that could give him like Coil Nova follow up. Just in case it runs out soon so that he doesn't get the speed boost from the Windwalk. That was like the key to further his lead. And now Lin has been mining a bit again. Happy is also mining a bit, but like really a bit. Coil Nova on the Raider. Insta kill, Dark Minion. He sees the Blade. Blade has Invul. Clarity, Heal Wave. TC. He has Invul. He Invuls. He does not heal solve it yet with the TC heal solve, which is always really helpful under the Invul. Focuses the Lich hardcore. Ah, Nova on the Blade. Blade gets the heal wave. Don't hit. He has to get heal pot, right? He gets heal pot. There's no coil left. There is no coil left. Happy has to TP out. No further peon dice. And now we have a situation where we're mining with 5 peons now against 2 acolytes. Happy knows there's no time to waste. He purchases a heal potion. A mana potion. Does not sell the true shot. I think you could sell true shot now and get more heal and mana pots. Immediately goes across again and tries to make use of the blade still being low, but the blade is getting healed at the healing fountain. He still coil novas it. Shadow gets attacked. Devour. Oh! 292! Get critted! Lich! I said Lich! Get critted, bro. That was the first hero kill that Lin performed, and it was also the final hero kill. Incredible! Lin makes the 4-3 comeback after being behind 0-3 with an amazing resilience, with an amazing best of 7 minded approach, with 5 variations in 7 games. He only repeated himself twice. He only did the same thing 3 times, and all of them were losses. And well, actually 2 of them were losses, right? And he did 5 different variations of openings. Happy did the same opening every game in an uncharacteristic maladaptation to the different things that Lin was doing. Lin still shows himself to be like the more flexible mental player, even though Happy's execution is phenomenal. But then you pair it up with Lin's execution, which is also phenomenal, and we get a very deserved victory in what must have certainly been a mental juggernaut of a game, of a series for both players. And one of the best series we'll see this year. Fantastic performance. Wonderful set of games. And thanks for sending the replay, Neo, from Back to Warcraft, so that I got to cast it as well. Definitely check out their cast as well of Warcraft. They're keeping the Warcraft 3 esports scene alive in the West. Great series. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video and you want to see more gameplay and commentary, be sure to sub to the Grub. And I'll see you guys next time. I can't actually blink. It's a Twitch. See you next time. Sub to the Grub.